Oh, hi. I'm going to show you how to make a kind of ink out of these beautiful red poppy petals. So once your poppy petals start to fall, go ahead and pick them up, give them a rub, and you can start to see right away that there is some color on there. And a lot of flowers will have this kind of characteristic, and any other kind of flower petal that you get an immediate stain off of is probably going to be good for this kind of a project. But I used these red poppy petals, and what I did is I went ahead and grabbed just two of them. I mashed them up a little bit with some very hot water, let them sit for maybe 15 minutes. The longer you let it sit, actually is maybe not that great because the color will start to change. So it is pH sensitive and it's sensitive to oxygen. So just let it sit for 10-15 minutes, and then you can go ahead and start using it as a really light watercolor wash. And you can see it's not super intense at first. Here, I'm speeding it up so you don't have to sit and watch me try and paint a poppy. This is just a really loose interpretation of a poppy, and I'm just using the plain old poppy petal juice there. And then what I'm going to do, in a minute you'll see, I'm going to grab my magic bottles of soda ash. And this is a powder that I've then mixed into a liquid, basically. So there I've got the soda ash. And what that does, it shifts the pH balance on the poppy ink. So you can see it's starting to turn a little bit green. Now I've got a different paintbrush there, and I'm just sort of mixing in the drops of soda ash into the stem to make it look green. In the other bottle, I have alum. And that again was a powder that I've mixed into a liquid so that I can just use it on the fly like this. I find it really easy to just add some drops in as I go. And now I've got a different paintbrush so that I'm not mixing the alum and the ash, because otherwise you just get a blend of colors. And what I'm trying to do is keep the colors separate. And what that does is it sort of intensifies the color. You can see it shift from kind of a purple into kind of a more slightly intense pink. But again, this is all about really subtle color. And I'm just going to speed this up again. Dropping in some more magic juice to shift the pH balance. And I'm just going to show you this bit because I'd make a big blorp, there you go, that I didn't really want. And I just wanted to show you that it's not the end of the world. It's just a really loose interpretation of a poppy, just a really loose painting altogether. So I'm just picking up some of the liquid off of there, and then what I'm doing is taking a brush with just plain water and kind of just taking that blorp back a bit. So picking up the color with the plain water brush, and then just picking up some of the liquid with a paper towel there. And then once I start to draw over it, as I'm going to do, you won't even really notice that mistake in the end. So, don't sweat it. And keep in mind, these are not permanent colors, and they do tend to fade over time. So if you do want a permanent record of your piece, just take a photograph or take a scan of it as soon as you're done. I like to move the liquid around a little bit, shift it around while it's still wet, and you will notice that the liquid has a tendency to run off the end of the page. So that's what I'm doing here, is just catching some of that liquid where it's coming off the page. So there it is dry. You can see 3 different colors all come from one color of poppy petal, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw on top of mine because that's what I like to do. But you could certainly just leave yours as is.